Welcome to the WTR Healthcare Happenings podcast. I'm your host, Tim Gerdeman, Vice Chair and Co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer of Water Tower Research. In today's podcast episode, I am joined by Dr. Raza Bokhari, Executive Chairman and CEO of Medicus Pharma, NASDAQ ticker symbol MDCX. Also joining us is my Water Tower Equity Research colleague and healthcare analyst, Robert Sassoon. Medicus Pharma is a precision-guided, clinical-stage biotech and life sciences company focused on accelerating the clinical development programs of novel and disruptive therapeutic assets. Utilizing a thesis-driven collaborative process, Medicus identifies, acquires, and advances relatively de-risked clinical-stage assets through clinical development and commercialization, targeting indications of high unmet therapeutic needs. So welcome to today's podcast, Raza and Robert.
Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you again, Tim, for being back on this podcast. And good morning, Raza.
Yeah, looking
Good
forward
morning to you also, sir. Thank you so much.
Raza, to kick things off, please tell our listeners about your professional background and also please give us a 30,000-foot overview of Medicus Pharma's business model.
Tim, I think you've already done a very nice job, stolen the thunder away of my introduction of the company. You have presented it, couldn't have done a better job. So we're very appreciative of this opportunity to speak to your audience. I am a serial entrepreneur in the life sciences healthcare space for the past 30 plus years. We are based out of Philadelphia, which has been the home away from home for me for nearly 35 or 36 years of my adult life. I am a physician by training and have been in the life sciences space right from the outset. I started off in the diagnostic field, had an opportunity to build a national company, a specialty diagnostic company that I sold to a private equity fund at the turn of the millennium for what was a life-changing amount of money for a monetization opportunity for my family. And since then, we, through a family office, remain active in the market as investor operators. And Medicus Pharma is where I have assembled with my team that has been very supportive to me throughout the course of my professional life, both at the board level as well as at the management level. And as Tim, you described, Medicus is focused on advancing clinical development programs of these novel therapeutic assets that we believe are potentially disruptive. And
Great. Thanks
we're very excited here to be with you today.
Thanks so much, Raza, for that background. And I have nothing but a world of respect for serial entrepreneurs because I personally know that there's a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of bloody and bruised times that people don't see. They only see the successes or failures. So congratulations. And over to you, Robert.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. And Dr. Bokhari, thank you for joining our podcast. So before we delve a little into the assets of Medicus, can you start by explaining your strategy, how it differentiates itself from the traditional biotech model? And what were the key factors you have taken into account that you decided to pursue this strategy?
Robert, as you and you could very well appreciate, the biotech life sciences sector that remains under pressure most of the time has been particularly been under what would be safe to call a nuclear winter for past 4+ years. And there are an abundance of assets, novel therapies that are either in phase 2 or are phase 2 ready but have lacked the opportunity to move forward, primarily due to the paucity of capital access. And that is where we have assembled at Medicus Pharma, and we just a few weeks ago celebrated our 1 year anniversary on NASDAQ, where we go and identify these assets, and we run them through a phase 2 proof of concept study and position them to out-license to bigger players or large pharmaceutical companies that would then carry them through a late-stage development and commercialization. So we are very focused and try to refrain from any temptation to operate outside this narrow vertical, where we believe is the best area for us to execute and deliver for our shareholders.
Thank you for that. Now, you emphasize a strategy focused on de-risk assets. So, can you clarify for us what specific internal proof points Medicus uses to determine what an asset is, when an asset is considered de-risked?
So the de-risking is a loosely used term, because an asset, right from its genesis, is on an ongoing process of de-risking, and it continues to de-risk even post commercialization through the and after market phase 4 studies, pharmacovigilance, so that there is a continued ongoing effort to assess the safety profile of the asset in a more targeted fashion. In the industry, the de-risking is more applicable where you have an asset that certainly has demonstrated adequate safety through a phase 1 study, and then has gone through a proof of concept phase 2 study, and as an outcome of that study has a decision grade data point or data packages that would consider it adequate and relevant to enter into pivotal studies. So our focus to de-risk the asset is to get it to a point where it becomes a prime candidate for late stage pivotal studies, where is the bulk of the investment is. As you would also appreciate, drug development is an expensive business. It takes several $100 million before a drug becomes commercially available. And so I hope that provides some context of the de-risking. We're getting it to become de-risked enough so it is ready to enter into a pivotal study.
Thank you. That's very informative. Now, let's turn to your portfolio. You have a couple of portfolio companies, SkinJect and Antev. Can you describe their compounds, their target indications, clinical and regulatory pathways, and explain how disruptive each is with respect to their target indications?
So we got off the ground 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, by taking control of SkinJet, which is a novel localized immunogenic investigational therapy that comes out of Carnegie Mellon and University of Pittsburgh, where the focus has been to bring to market a non-invasive treatment for non-melanoma skin diseases, particularly basal cell carcinoma of the skin. Basal cell carcinoma is the most common cancer There are more than 5 million new cases are diagnosed every year in the United States. And the standard of care that comes at a cost of 15 plus billion dollars annually is a surgical intervention, otherwise known as Mohs surgery, that is certainly very effective, but expensive, aesthetically not very pleasing, and painful. Uh, in addition to that, most surgery has capacity limitations. There are only about 1 million or so procedures are carried out every year in the United States. There are perhaps only 5,000 or so trained dermatologists that perform most surgeries. So there is at a given time, currently there are 7 million plus patients waiting in the queue for a treatment opportunity. So SkinJet, through its uniquely designed patent protected microneedle arrays, is tip loaded with microdoses of a known chemotherapeutic agent, doxorubicin, and is applied directly at the site of the lesion. And it triggers an immunogenic response and kills the cancer cells or causes apoptosis. So we are very excited that we are breaking some new ground in bringing to market this novel therapy. And as we speak, our phase 2 study that covers 90 patients across 9 sites across the United States is approaching a database lock. We have completed recruitment of all 90 patients, and we hope in the first half of this year, not only that we see a decision grade data readout, but also are able to have a partnering opportunity with a bigger player and monetize from the asset. So that is our lead asset. Our second asset is Tavarelix, which is a next generation GnRH antagonist that is where we have 2 approved phase 2 studies of evaluating Tavarelix in patients with advanced prostate cancer, patients with high cardiovascular risk profile, and a second study, which we are extremely excited about, is a novel study in patients with acute urinary retention, relapse prevention, primarily due to enlarged prostate. So we have a full plate and are excitedly moving forward in this new year with 3 phase 2 indications that we are advancing forward.
Robert, I'm going to rudely interject, and I rarely do this on podcasts, but I have to comment on SkinJect. So having heard you say that, you probably saw me nodding my head. I had Mohs surgery 1 year ago this month at Northwestern University in Chicago, and I can vouch for everything you said. So if SkinJect proves to be effective, it would be a godsend.
Well, we really appreciate that vote of confidence, and also in the manner that skin patch is, the design is that it fills in this space that while you are, the diagnosis of a basal cell is discovered, and the Mohs surgery usually takes about 12-14 weeks, the earliest to schedule, that you have an optionality to use this patch in an office setting, either by the physician or a physician extender. And if the patch works, you don't have to move on and go under the knife. And if it doesn't work, you still have that option available. So thank you for that vote of confidence.
Robert?
Yes, sticking with SkinJect, actually, just playing the devil's advocate role here. You're basically it's repurposing a known drug, doxorubicin, which is a potent chemotherapy, and it has some historical, legal, and regulatory baggage. So why does repurposing such a drug make sense for you?
Appreciate that very insightful question, and I am thankful that you asked. It is indeed correct that doxorubicin has been in the market for perhaps 3+ decades, and is a potent chemotherapeutic agent that also has toxic levels. Those toxic levels are at a level more than 350 milligram dose, where it is cardiotoxic and nephrotoxic, and what we call causes the red death. Our use of doxorubicin is in microdoses. It is microdosing doxorubicin at a level of 200 microgram in the high arm the placebo-controlled triple arm study that we have, and 100 microgram, which is the low arm. So this is at the level that we are utilizing doxorubicin is not even a rounding error. Number two, the more important value add is that we are utilizing this known chemotherapeutic agent, which is very potent, and applying it directly at the site of the lesion. So it is a precision guided delivery transdermally without entering the systemic circulation. So even at these micro doses, at these minuscule numbers, there is no chance for doxorubicin to find itself into the blood circulation and cause any systemic harm. And that is what we demonstrated in our phase 1 proof of, in our safety and tolerability study. And that is what we continue to demonstrate in this phase 2 study that is now coming to a conclusion, and we hope that we have a decision grade data readout. So I hope that addresses the question that you raised, and I'll quickly also add, but why still doxorubicin? And because it is can be configured rather easily, it is available in abundance. And basal cell carcinoma and non-melanoma skin diseases are not just an American problem, they are a global problem. Wherever there is sun and ultraviolet radiation, that is the breeding ground for basal cell carcinoma. So it also helps democratize and make this therapy available beyond the shores of United States. So that is where the basis is to use doxorubicin. Also have some insurance policy that it will work, and that also we can minimize or optimize the cost of drug development, where we can rely on a 505(b)(2) pathway to registration. So there is this host of these myriad of these positive pyramid or silos where doxorubicin was picked by Lou Fallow, the chair of dermatology at University of Pittsburgh, and where we believe that it has the best chance to make this a patch available for a wider population.
Well, Dr. Bakari, I think you've answered that question of skepticism, a little skepticism, very eloquently and quite persuasively. So we'll move on to the next question. What are the most important milestones investors should be watching out for for each of those assets that you've talked about over the next 12 to 18 months?
Well, we really appreciate this opportunity. We couldn't be coming on your podcast at a better time. We have entered this year with multiple phase 2 catalysts, starting off with our lead asset, SkinJet, which is approaching a database lock. We have indicated that we hope before the end of this quarter, certainly in this half of this year, that we will have a top line readout available, which we have high hope and confidence that would be decision grade. Our hope and confidence stems from our interim analysis that we completed at the end of first quarter of last year, where we showed this to be a positively trending study. That was very welcoming to us and also validated our investment thesis as investor operators, where we have $18 million of nearly 18 million pre-IPO, which I led myself non-brokered with a $4 million check, is what the basis of our investment was. So this is coming up as our first catalyst, which we also hope will translate into a partnering opportunity with a bigger player. In the remainder of the year, we just earlier this week announced that we have a study may proceed determination from the FDA for our Tavaralix's phase 2 dose optimization study. And so that study will get off the ground. And we are working in a robust fashion with a Reliant AI, a generative AI company that is formed by these former alums of DeepMind and Google Brain, where we are incorporating artificial intelligence in our drug development efforts so we can become more time efficient as well as capital efficient. So these are some of these catalysts that are very exciting. And also, since we talk about 12 to 18 months, certainly our study to evaluate Tavaralix in patients with acute urinary retention relapse prevention should also begin to recruit patients. So we have a busy year ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. That dovetails into the next question. What's the end game for Medicus with these programs, and how does each fit into the company's de-risked valuation strategy?
Our objective is, as I stated at the outset, to double down and focus on this vertical of taking these select assets through a phase 2 proof of concept, and then and declare that as an inflection point to out-license to bigger players or co-develop with bigger players and monetize from these assets. To simply state, we acquire assets at a $10 to $25 million value. We take control. We invest over next 2 to 3 years, $10 to $25 million of capital in each of these assets, and with a decision grade data readout, position them to out-license and monetize what we hope is a double-digit return to our invested capital. So that is our strategy, and we hope that we can execute as advertised, so that we can continue to get rewarded by the market for our effort.
All right, thank you. You actually mentioned Reliant AI. That's an interesting collaboration you have. You have several collaborations, but that seems to stand out because we're in the now an AI world. So, Paper, perhaps could you elaborate further on the partnership, how AI is currently being integrated into your operations, and what role you expect it to play going forward at Medicus?
Really appreciate that. So, unlike others, we're not looking to use incorporation of machine learning and artificial intelligence as a buzzword. We actually believe that we are breaking some new ground and we are leading the way on focusing using this AI platform in drug development. There has been a lot of effort and a lot of advancements of use of AI in drug discovery. There is not a whole lot of focus in how we can utilize AI to help in the clinical development phase 2, and then for bigger players to also utilize AI in the pivotal studies. And we think, and we are inspired by leaders like Stefan Bancel at Moderna at Davos. He made a special reference of Moderna, where Moderna is utilizing AI in dose optimization in pivotal studies that helps makes it more and more capital efficient. We are one step before that, where we can utilize AI in dynamic site selection, in a PK/PD informed patient stratification, in simulating and forecasting patient recruitment from in a comparative site selection fashion. So that is our first effort in a targeted fashion. And if we can utilize AI and it demonstrates that it is successful, which we have high confidence that it would be and it should be, then we would maybe try to get our feet wet in exploring if we could normalize adaptive trial designs and perhaps also predict decision grade outcomes. So we are very excited that Reliant and us are partnering on this. And but it is our work has we have our work cut out for ourselves. So we have hopefully would have a lot more to share as we advance forward in this year.
Well, I'll be very interested in monitoring what goes on in the future on that. Anyway, beyond your current two portfolio companies, are you looking to expand the pipeline? And if so, which therapeutic areas are you prioritizing?
We are always opportunistically looking to expand our pipeline. We do believe that commensurate to our size, we are adequately busy with the number of assets and the therapeutic areas that we have. Tavarelix, beyond its men's health approved indications, there is also, we are presenting later this year at the American Association of Clinical Endocrinology our abstract on the role of Tavarelix in women health, particularly in being a bone mineral density sparing. And we have what we are exploring a genomic enabled study in the Middle East with United Arab Emirates that is the largest database of genome data sets, where we can rely on genome mapping to see if we can also enter into a women health indication. So uh, you never know what may come before us, but we are quite focused on what we have on hand. But if what areas, oncology seems like that's where the most of the opportunities present themselves. There are so many promising assets that have hit the wall due to financial constraints. So maybe we may find something that is exciting for us to jump on. But for now, we believe that we are have an adequately focus on what we have in hand.
Okay, got it. So you mentioned financials. Final question from me is, given the size of your company, can you describe for us the key financial priorities and strategies Medicus is pursuing to achieve its near and longer term goals?
Thank you so much. Capital access is key for us, and we have in place in S3 registration, $100 million registration statement that we can rely on to use an at-the-market financial instrument, otherwise commonly known as ATM, to, in an orderly fashion, continue to replenish capital. Our big focus for this year is to monetize from SkinJet out licensing. Deloitte is assisting us in that effort, and we are very hopeful that a transaction that would hand over the baton for SkinJet to a bigger player will bring a non-dilutive capital on our balance sheet, which will expand our runway. But nonetheless, ATM is what we largely rely on. We also have an ELOC, a similar modified version of an ATM program that we also have a resale statement of 7 million or so securities available to us. So we do think that we have a good mechanism to, in an orderly fashion, continue to take capital if we need it.
Got it. Well, thank you, Raza, for letting us into the world of Medicus and helping us to better understand the business model and the direction it's heading. So I'm going to pass it back to Tim.
Raza and Robert, thanks so much for the very intriguing discussion. Given that the discussion of skin cancer and Mohs surgery struck so close to home, I'm going to give a shout out to my Northwestern University Mohs surgeon, Dr. Murad Alam, considered such an expert that the Wall Street Journal and many other publications have interviewed him in recent years. Have a great afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, as well as visiting www.watertowerresearch.com to stay up to speed on the company's small cap written research reports, podcasts, fireside chats, industry-specific symposiums, and conference schedules. We will see you next time for another edition of the WTR Healthcare Happenings podcast. Finally, a special thanks to the producer and editor of the podcast, Krista Fitzpatrick.